Travis Walton was the first person that I saw after my near death. I had the near
Wow.
death, the solar eclipse of totality. He called up to check to see, are you okay? And then he said, just come and, meet with me and my friend. And we chatted real quick. The night before that happened, I had a vivid dream that I was being shown onto a two-layer bus-like object. The seats were layered two up, and there was a long hallway. And as I walked to go down the hallway, I thought in my mind, oh my gosh, I don't have any ID or a ticket. So I turned around, and the bus driver turned around, and he was an alien, and he telepathically communicated to me. He said, you don't need ID or a ticket. You're supposed to be here.
All right. Well, it's your boy Dustin from the Flying Chariots, the Rise podcast. And I got a special guest today, Lyons. She is a singer, songwriter, martial artist, UFO enthusiast. And when I saw her for the first time, I was just blown away by her channel and just her music is awesome and just the UFO theme. And I was like, that is fucking dope. I have to have her on my show and we have to talk about what she does. So yeah, I'm going to tell us where you came from and where you grew up. And yeah.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you, Dustin.
Yeah.
So I was born in North Carolina, Fort Bragg. My father was Special Forces, and I was there for a little while. He was, both of my parents have passed for some time now, and they seem to give me more from the realm that they're in now than I could have ever probably received in the recognition of the physical realm, which is amazing. So I'm really grateful for both of them. But my father was a practitioner working with the New Earth Army. And so they were doing a lot of Jedi and Bodhisattva, things with martial arts, but also bringing harmony through brain waves into the body so that they could be, coming from their heart and from peace, but yet also utilizing what I call like the full spectrum. Like I see life very much as we can measure things. So if you have on one side, something that would appear to some people, mostly because of our past experiences like trauma or violence or loud things just being kind of, scary sometimes, that a lot of times we think of using our body in that way for self-defense or with martial arts would be like one side of the scale that I think sometimes people that are waking up always kind of want to stay on the other side of the scale, which is the love and light, right? The peace. We want this result. So this is what we're going to live in all the time. But I believe the human experience we're having on this planet is the allowance for us to bring the full side. So my father really gifted that to me from his practice in the Army. My mother was extremely feminine woman, always singing, always dancing in the house. And she moved with me to Maine, and I grew up homeschooling there in Maine. And eventually, I started a family when I was very young myself. I did some singing before that. I moved to Montreal for a year, and I sang with a lot of punk rock bands. And that was really, really cool. I was expressing myself through music, which I still love to do. And then when I came back to Maine, I started my family. Started a career in emergency medicine for over a decade, working in a level 2 trauma center and volunteering for the hazmat team and learning how to think critically, right? And be in the face of what we would consider a lot of chaos, but yet learn the body, the anatomy, and skills to stay calm and realize there's so many solutions when other people are in fear. So that 10 years, I mean, really, I watched people, unexpectedly for me and for them die from everything from car accidents, from infants all the way up, cardiac arrest, whatever that was happening in that 10 years for me through my 20s and early 30s would impact me on a soul level. And it was giving me a communication from another place that I didn't even fully understand until presently today, as it integrates its messages about the fullness, or again, that spectrum, that measurement of this experience we're here. So I did some working in Manhattan, came across the country and landed here in Sedona, Arizona almost 5 years ago. And here I am a general manager for astronomy. We do stargazing tours. It's brilliant. We people come in and just learn about this beautiful universe through telescopes, astronomers. And I also now have my wonderful husband. We are an amazing team. We do the music, we do our own tours. We just, as you said, we'll get into all of this, but that's some about me.
That is absolutely amazing. You have
Yeah.
so many things going on. Again, that is awesome. And again, you have a fan base that's probably curious and live vicariously through you. And again, it's just when I came across your music videos and the music that you've been doing with your husband, and the fact that both of you do the martial arts thing too, I think that it's just that awesome love connection and the both of the hobbies coming together, and the I don't know, just the I don't know what else does your husband do?
So I had a near death in 2017 on the solar eclipse of totality. I was almost murdered in Maine, and that's
Oh wow.
kind of the doorway, the gateway, I'll say, that was catapulting me where I'd like to describe we're not in Kansas anymore. I was
Right.
going to go somewhere over the rainbow. And pleasantly, there's been a parachute for that whole entirety of that, what we could describe as the fall, the mystery, the great mystery of life was like coming in broadly. So my near death obviously came to me through violence. And I'm so grateful that I've utilized as a practitioner, how to go through the wounds and how to find the nectar in the wounds. And it's through the shadows, or what we call the darkness, that we are elevated into the talents, the gifts, the other side, right? But we've got to go through that nervous system first. We've got to go through that central nervous system and that cellular body that stores all of those traumas. Well, when I came here to Sedona, I started to do what I've been doing for many years. It's journaling, manifesting. What do I want? Well, I wanted a life partner, but I wanted to be more specific about that. So, of course, what it started as was me journaling what I want.
Mhm.
What it turned out to be 3 months later was, through all this work, who do I need to be? Who am I? And that's when I manifested, Gianluca Zana. He came to me because he was interested in me managing for his Krav Maga, which is an Israeli defense system. And he went all the way to Israel to get all of his certifications.
Wow.
And I said, yes, I want to manage this project with you because I knew how much it would help not only women, everybody, but I knew it was speaking to those places that I was working on really getting, through to the other side. So we started to join together in that element. And then we realized we had so much purpose together and we have so much passion and intensity together that we almost have to do this together, right?
That's
So
awesome.
he's also a music producer. He's so multi-talented.
Yeah, I was gonna say he is.
Hundreds of songs that he's written and produces great videos, and he's working with people all over the world. He's from Rome, Italy.
Oh,
And
cool.
so,
All right.
yeah, he reintroduced my love of music, as I described to you, that had kind of, and that the love of music never sizzles. Yeah, that's
No, it doesn't.
impossible. If it does, we're in trouble, right?
Right? No, actually, I used to be
Yeah.
into music myself. I used to be in a band. Yeah, music my first love. I've been doing it since I was 15. So I
When
definitely know what you're talking about.
But however, when you go through some of those intensities in life and you're breaking the way we need to break away from the programming or whatever, just find it, however it is, the process of life. We don't even really have to define that. That gets too complicated. It's just what it is. It starts to maybe sometimes remove some of those ways that really we are free within ourselves. It's part of our code, right? So I hadn't been singing, in public or creating music.
Mhm.
And here comes Luca, and it was like, oh my gosh, here's the self-defense, here's the music. And then he's a certified hypnotherapist. So I got all of my certifications to
Oh,
become
cool.
the hypnotherapist. And we just started to plug away and start all of these different businesses here. Boom, 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 boom.
That is awesome. Like this is the domino effect, right? I
Yeah.
just gotta love that.
It's bigger than us kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And that's so cool. He's from originally from you said Rome? Because I'm Italiano myself, or actually from Sicily. Not from Sicily. My family originated from Sicily, and I still have family there that I keep in contact with.
bravo.
Um, yeah, right. So definitely get that. That's so dope.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so again, where did the alien aspect come into these music videos? Or
Well,
did you have your own personal experience where you just
oh, yeah, and I did. First, I want to just say I'm really grateful for the ways that I have come here. I'm grateful to as I described briefly, firstly or most is my mother and my father. They were simple almost in their ways of raising me. Not even extremely, I don't want to say this in a rude way, but like present. I mean, their messages to me and their energy were very present, and that's what mattered. But I was on my own at 15. My mother was a Jehovah's Witness, and I was homeschooled. But my homeschooling was really about dance classes, every dance class you can imagine, camping out in nature. So singing and gymnastics. So I was, and skiing and snowboarding. So as a child, I believe that I was really being allowed to discover myself and not being programmed in that way.
that's nice.
Right? And so the thing is that when I was like 15, I was looking around and I'm going, well, okay, so I get it. And this is great and everything, but you're telling me, because Jehovah's Witness, right, that there's nothing outside of this world that you're talking to me about? Nope, only internet. And I was like, I'm a little too curious for that. So I wanted to explore, and that was against the rules. And so I was excommunicated. And so at 15, I left home, and I never even like cried about it. I was ready. and, and my mother, followed the obedience. She did not speak with me until she left when I was 25. So we didn't communicate together. Right? Like, for example, I lived in a small town and I would walk through a grocery store unassumingly, just doing my business, and somebody I would know from the congregation would see me on the other side of the hallway. And instead of going, hi, they would go, oh, and go the other direction. So I was learning some really valuable things about detachment and about the truth about us, humanity, right? And so it's very interesting. Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
And then yeah, so you guys do other
So
like
let's talk about UFOs.
yeah. Tell me more.
So my point to sharing this with you is that I don't think that I know I wasn't kind of given that box to live in, so that things are so unbelievable to imagine that they could be. In other words, I was given a great sense of adventure and imagination from a young child that I'm grateful for. Then I was given my own sense of freedom, that I don't need what others tell me that I need to be or need them to be, because I am, and I'm still here and I'm adventuring. And I had found music at that time. At 16, I started singing in a punk rock band. So my point is, it wasn't that hard to believe that there's all of this possibility in the world. I needed to believe there's possibility to not fall down when the structure of life told me, no, we're not going to talk to you. No, you no longer exist. No, you're wrong. I was going, no, there's other stuff out here. Mm-hmm. So when in 2012, I started to have these astral travel remote viewing that were blowing my mind. And I wouldn't really be quiet about it. Life wasn't allowing me to be quiet about it because it was so real. It was the realer story than anything that's projected outside. And I started to communicate about it. And the people that I was around, my circle, if we call it, wasn't supportive of it. So I was being, no big deal. I grew, to where I am today, thank goodness. And I'm very grateful and pray and bless everybody along the way. But I started to have these really powerful remote viewing and astral travel. And as I started to grow these wings and kind of float along with the winds that were, fateful, I found people that were very much in the UFO community, I guess you would call it. One of them being Travis Walton, had a beloved living in Maine that I ended up living with for some time. And so I got to know Travis Walton very well.
Mhm.
And we were discussing things that were, I mean, again, I don't want to say they were mind blowing, but was I sitting there originally with my jaw on the ground for a while? Sure, sure, I really was, because it wasn't just me watching a television program. It was me submerged in a lifestyle all of a sudden. And it's got a life that's organic of its own. So it will be what it is, right? So I needed to practice a lot of things that time, like practitioner. I started teaching Kundalini yoga because I needed it. And breath work, mantras, things like that were very important to me. They still are, mudras, writing. And the other dimensions of this experience were very open to me, and they still are today. And I welcomed them. I needed to, because by that point, my mother had passed, my father had passed, and a lot of people and that I experienced passing in emergency medicine. And I believe that there's this big communication coming through that I trust very, very much so, because again, I didn't watch it on a television screen,
Right.
which can make you curious, but this
Right.
had been embedded into me as a truth. So, and
Wow.
a very important one, right?
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. Because even though you go, wow, this is so mysterious and my jaw's on the ground, some reason you've got a resonant heartbeat and you know what I'm talking about. Things give
Sure.
you anxiety and make you go, I'm uncomfortable. Like, I don't
Sure.
want to use the word uncomfortable. Sometimes we need discomfort to grow, but there's dissonance and there's resonance. And when we
Right.
become practitioners, fortunately, I think we do that so we can discern what those two energies are within our own being and then make our, choices.
Yes.
So that's how
And
I became in the UFO, personally. And then I had more
that's
also, a lot more since then.
that's awesome. Again, so Travis Walton's story is probably my favorite story of all time. Just because there's just so many witnesses and evidence and lie detector tests, and the fact that his coworkers were about to be pulled up for murder because they couldn't find him for 5 days until he showed up naked in a phone booth. All this
I
fucking
know.
belittle, this
I
fucking PTSD going on. Yeah, it's bad for him
know,
for
for
a
real.
minute there to get his bearings right and even to come up
Right?
with his story. And
Yes.
again, I like these interaction with these human ETs too. Like, he interacted with two different species of, like, it was kind of like the Greys at first there, and he was laying on the bed there, and then he knocks into one of them. He said it felt like a marshmallow. And then they backed off and they went away, and he went into another room and he interacted with another human like ET with a glass helmet. And he was, trying to like interact with this guy, and he wasn't saying anything until he like leads him out of the UFO into this giant hangar, and then he's interacting with these female and male human ETs that throw something on his face and knocks him out, and he realizes he's on the street naked, like what the fuck. But yeah, just oh, man, I just love that story so much, and him telling it just gets your skin crawling and shit like that. So the fact that you got to chit chat with that dude,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Travis Walton was the first person that I saw after my near death. I had the near death,
Wow.
the solar eclipse of totality. He called up to check to see, are you okay? And then he said, just come and, meet with me and my friend. And we chatted real quick. The night before that happened, I had a vivid dream that I was being shown onto a two-layer bus-like object, and the seats were layered two up, and there was a long hallway. And as I walked to go down the hallway, I thought in my mind, oh my gosh, I don't have any ID or a ticket. So I turned around, and the bus driver turned around, and he was an alien, and he telepathically communicated to me. He said, you don't need ID or a ticket. You're supposed to be here. It was
Oh,
the next
damn.
day that I met with Travis, and he said, well, basically welcome, to the phenomenon and to the other sides of,
Sure.
this experience.
You're right. And then there's all these ETs have their all different agendas, and then they have all different ways of interacting with you. I think the Earth is the Disneyland of the galaxy, just all these fucking shit just pops up every which way, and like people having these interactions. Yeah, because I don't know if you know the Calvin Parker case in Pascagoula, Mississippi back in 1970. I should know this by now. 1973. I have it hanging over there. I
I
have
was
a
gonna
bunch of
say,
his
it's gotta be
autographs and stuff.
written on the wall.
Yeah. No, I have a bunch of his autographs and actual sketches that he did of these ETs and
Yeah.
the ship. But anyways, him and his coworker were fishing off this pier, and this like egg-shaped UFO comes down with blue lights, and these crab-like, robot-like creatures came up floating to them, grabbed them, and threw them up in this spaceship. And then this female ET, human female, starts, doing like her experiments on them and throws them back out. It's just like, what the fuck? And these guys take lie detector tests too. They pass with flying colors. It's like, man, yeah, I don't know. Again, people, I think they have all these agendas, different plans, and even like these contactees. I don't know if you know much about Billy Meyer and uh, play Aaron, that he interacts with these human ETs, blonde hair, blue eyes,
Mhm.
and it's giving him, future messages. And he goes back and, goes rides on these UFOs, he claims, and has tons of pictures and videos. But yeah, very interesting case. And he still has these contacts today. I think he has like telepathic messages, and he's only got one arm, so he's sitting there on a typewriter just going pretty bizarre.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Have you traveled much around the world? Like,
Not, I will more. So I will travel more.
sure,
I've done some traveling, but I've really been having quite the travels here just in this country. I lived
sure.
in Montreal for a year, and I was singing there, and an amazing music scene coming from Maine.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
played music. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I went to Montreal. I went there with my band to play a show for the weekend.
Uh-huh.
And I got there and I was like, oh my goodness. And I told my band after the show, you can go home. I'm staying. And they were like, yeah, that's funny. And I was like, yeah, but it's not a joke.
Oh shit.
So I stayed. But so Montreal, I mean, I spent a little bit of time in Costa Rica. It was beautiful. And I will travel. I will travel. Luca and I want to do that with our music. We're
That's
ready.
awesome.
He has a lot of great connections, and we're really fostering and nurturing relationships that will assist. And, now if you've heard our music, we would, have that understanding that we're spreading positive messages through hypnotherapy, because very well, right? The industry of industries with there's agenda. When you have a beat, we talked about the power of music,
Yeah.
especially our children. We talked about programs, right? I mean, come on, we have the vision, and we know it's true that we are assisting by having beats and the words. When words are powerful, this fifth chakra.
Yeah.
Hello,
Yeah. Yeah.
what
Yeah.
above the heart? All this crown and everything, right here. So this is a gateway, and we're assisting with the gateway in the ways that we all must assist when we know it's our calling, and that's through music. So that is around the globe, Justin.
It is. It is. And where you're at right now is a big hotspot for UFOs too. Like the Phoenix Lights is like I think the most popular, right?
I've seen them, yeah.
Have you? Oh shit.
I
'Cause I think
sure
thousands of people saw that one.
I sure have. I was actually driving back. One of our dear friends passed on the full moon in 2019 in December. Marilyn, bless her heart, love her. And on the way back, we stopped at this restaurant that's famous for its pies, and it was dark out. And in the front, they had a like one of the buggies that a horse would have pulled. And then in the buggy, there was these skeletons as like this, cinematic thing. And I hopped up to have a picture taken on the buggy with the
Uh-huh.
skeleton. And all of a sudden, as they were taking my picture, everybody's going, look. And right above me it was amazing. The
Oh
light,
God.
so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd have been blown away myself because the UFO I saw was the same shape, but a lot smaller. It was probably the size of a school bus. And it was about 40 feet above the treetops, going about 40 miles per hour. But yeah, this thing was gigantic. I think it was like 2 football fields, long. The one you down in Phoenix. But yeah, it's amazing. And then again, Sedona is just a hot spot
Yeah.
for UFOs. The canyons, I think, is like a big one. And the Native Americans have tons of stories. I don't know if you know any personally.
It's it's definitely, I have a place that I've set up what I describe as a little praying altar, and it's up in the canyon. And I just climb really high up under this tree that is on a waterway, right? So it's
Mhm.
a lot of energy there, but there's gateways here, and
Yes.
with the intention, with the clarity, with the work, with the practice as practitioners, which we know Native Americans are practitioners of being connected to elements, to environment, grateful. I mean, gratitude when we're gifting, when we're paying homage, in other words, to the very lands that this planet, to the animals, and, even to our own experiences, and we kind of fluff off that density that hangs around in the auric body, then we're able to connect with what really is, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, and then isn't the Hopi Indians out in Arizona? I hope
Yeah,
I'm in
there's
the
the
right.
Hopis. The Hopis are,
Yes.
sure.
Yes, I have a huge collection of Kachina dolls that are from the 19. Let's see, I got pictures of it. It's my little collection here. From the 1950s to the 40s, I
Wow,
have.
very nice.
Yes, I cherish these. And they look so astronaut-like, don't they? with their wearing this
All
the
right.
space suits, the helmets.
Wow.
Some of them even look a little bit robotic, like, it's just like
Yes, I know. I was just,
very awesome. That's again the ancient astronaut aspect that I like to bring to these guys. That that the
well,
fact that these Hopi Indians physically interacted with these beings.
and another thing that stands out as I'm, observing these is the big eyes.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
that again, all of my vivid dreams and experiences of what I have, it's, really spot on to the big eyes.
Yeah. And again, just the detail of each one of these, and there's like 200 of these creatures that had their own little. Uh, each one had like knew more than others of what different teachings to teach. Like agriculture and astronomy and
Yes.
um, yeah. Again, this the fact that they keep making these dolls to for their children to always remember that these things when they do return they won't be afraid, what I'm saying, because some of them do look a little bit terrifying. I can imagine like, holy shit, what the fuck, this thing is coming through a portal.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really amazing. I hope one day that they will return and you'll be there because you're
Yes.
in that state.
Mm,
Look for that blue star, I think, that came in.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, and
Sure.
the three mesas that make up the Hopi there. It's pretty
Yes.
cool.
It certainly is.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Like here in Wisconsin, we have pyramids, land pyramids. You wouldn't think Wisconsin has pyramids, but we do. We even have underwater pyramids at Rock Lake near Lake Mills. I don't know if you ever traveled here in
Oh,
Wisconsin
I
much.
haven't.
Well, yeah, you and your husband need to make way over here, make some music, or check out the UFO hotspots here.
That's really great.
Yeah, we have three towns that claim to be the UFO capital of the world: Dundee, Belleville, and Elmwood. Each town has three yearly UFO parades, dressing up their cars like flying saucers and dressing up like aliens, reminiscing stories and stuff like that. I've been to a few of these myself. Really cool. This starts its own modern day cargo cult. These old cargo cults. From the World War II that happened. I don't know if you know much about cargo cults yourself, but I love bringing that aspect to the ancient astronaut theory, and we
Really,
see our
yeah.
our culture is just so weird how we interact with godlike beings.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. What else? Um, you have this. Have you had any paranormal activity, or have you like ghosts or haunted houses out there in Sedona?
Well, we have a limousine that we do limousine tours in,
Oh,
Luca.
really?
Yes,
Okay, tell me more about that.
Sedona limousine tours. And we offer a kind of like a theater tour. We want people to have a great time. We kind of entertain them.
Oh, cool.
What we're really doing is bringing them out
Hmm.
to these portals, right? So then they can have these experiences. I think it was 2 weeks ago, Luca and I went out with our infrared. And we shot footage. We have it on YouTube and on our website of definitely some phenomenon. We had orbs in the canyon.
Oh, cool.
Now we're doing this dance. It was really something else. Yes, there definitely is phenomenon here. There's a mesa I like to go to, Airport Mesa, and I
Okay.
like to go there at night and practice spinning my staff. And when I go there, I've had several occurrences where I lose time. Um,
Huh.
yeah, and it's usually pretty much in the same area. And when I kind of seem to become re-present, it's kind of weird. It was like I'm really there,
Mm.
but then I get there again, and somehow it's like it wasn't the same there. It's like there was this piece, and
Yeah.
I have to remember for a slight moment where I am, and you're not really entirely sure why that happens because it's really not what we'd experience every day. I mean, when I'm out at Whole Foods, I mean, I usually, while I'm in the, aisle, I don't usually have that happen where I go, oh, wait a minute, I'm on a cart, I'm in the aisle, I'm at Whole Foods. But in this particular place, I've experienced a lot of that on the airport Mesa. So
Wow.
that's really cool. I enjoy it.
Has Lucas seen any UFOs himself?
He has. Yes, he
Oh,
has.
cool.
He has some great stories.
I
Mhm.
might have him on my show
Yeah, you
sometimes.
really,
He seems like a very interesting character, especially now that Israel is under some tension and all this craziness and the war. And I just know that UFOs sightings just amplified during wartime. So I can only imagine maybe there's some craziness in the air over Israel. Um,
right?
yeah, I don't know if he has family there or.
No, he doesn't, but he does have Master Cohen, which is the one that was teaching, him the
Oh, okay.
system there, Krav Maga. So he keeps in touch with him. And of course, you always care. We
Sure.
always have this compassion and empathy that, we really are. Look, you and I are here today, and we're having maybe a glass of great mineral water and chatting together and sharing, and really what a blessing that is because there's other directions that it's much tougher for families and people right now, Israel being one of them, right? So
Right.
yeah, he does have that concern and that care for the man he personally knows, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
And would you, I like to bring this story up and get people's opinion. Do you remember the beginning of the year in Florida, Miami? I guess there's a mall where like a portal did open up and three like giant shadowy kind of like figures came out of it and just wigged everybody out. I think even some people even took some gunshots at these things and they glitched and did some and they just kind of disappeared. And there was the police presence was insane. It looked like the whole state of Florida's police force was there, like at that mall. And it was only for a kid fight. It
Yeah.
makes you wonder what was all that about, And there's this whole controversial theory of like it's all fake. Actually, did happen. It's a big cover up. I like to get people's opinions on what
Uh-huh.
and thoughts on that
Mhm.
situation. If you heard more,
Well, I can speak again to the phenomenon that I've witnessed, myself. And I also like to be, doing astronomy. It is, our astronomers are very scientific, and I enjoy that. I enjoy to have, um, we look for how things work. That's a part of intelligence, right? Because
right?
also my own body, or like I was saying with anatomy, if I think something's broken, but I don't understand how it's put together, I can probably put it back together again or fix it. I'm not just broken. And the mind is a
Right.
powerful thing. So
Right.
when we know more, we can explore more, and it doesn't take away phenomenon. It just means we're more powerful than we give ourselves credit for, and that's
Sure.
very important for us to realize because we make change. We make change. So I want to speak to this experience. Well, the gateway, the portals, they're real. Whatever came through, and I trust and I believe that really happened. Where did it
Sure.
come from? What was the motivation? Those are two completely different conversations.
Yeah.
I believe that just science alone, we talk about the CERN project, we talk about things that are happening, we talk about military projects, we talk about
Yep. Yep.
crafts even that we're not sure exactly where, who, why, what. But the point is, it's called the mystery. And I think
Yeah.
the first important thing for us all to do is not damn ourselves, shame or guilt ourselves, or fear ourselves for believing. And then maybe once we get past that and we can have that calm heartbeat we talked about earlier, that we're still resonant beings to believe, then we can start to be empowered about the whys and the whats.
Yeah. It's true. Don't believe. Think for yourself.
Well, it's true, but we still
Yeah,
have to have enough of that. That word still has power for everybody.
sure.
We've heard it so much, and so it's true. We do have to know for ourselves, actually, don't we? You're
Yeah,
right. Yep.
yeah. Our own experiences too. Just again, you get to question what the hell, especially when you had, again, our experiences blown our mind and opened our eyes even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost friends over the subject, and again, I feel like it's very important because I think there's more things to come in the future here.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure. It's true, huh?
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Who are we gonna call? Ghostbusters?
Exactly. Of course we do. Or we just become them, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you have any upcoming projects, like music
We,
wise or anything else?
we do. We have a new song called Stand Up for Your Life. It's awesome. We love it. It's very pumped up. It gets people moving. It's got a great message, which is that stand up for your life, make your dreams alive. And we just did our first kind of recording. We're sending it to have it mastered. So once
Oh,
that
cool.
comes back, we'll release it. We'll make our video for that. I have a song that I'm redoing that I wrote in 2010. It was an acoustic track after my mother and my father passed. I wrote a
Hmm.
song about snowboarding called The Rhythm of the Mountain, and it's very cathartic. And I was just playing the guitar and letting it go, like very emotionally
Sure.
expressed. And then it was my medicine. It's always my medicine. But now I'm going, wow, wait a minute. I want to make it more EDM, more approachable to dance to, and give it that shine, that glimmer that there's
Yes.
the other side of that moment and share it with the world. So doing that and then making the video for that.
That's
And yeah, I
awesome.
mean, we are not scarce and we do not lack projects.
No, I was gonna say because you guys just it's
Yep.
like roll after roll after roll, and you have just so much all
Yep.
these hobbies going on. I was like, how do you guys get the time?
Yeah.
Do you have
Well,
kids?
yes, we do, but
Especially,
let me show you something.
sure, sure.
Cool. You get creative when it comes to managing time and what your priorities are. So just the other day, and I don't know if you can really see this, but we made this vision board
Oh, cool.
about what we do. And in the middle is our project, Love in Sedona. And then we have our Sedona hypnotherapist. Our Love in Sedona, music is up here. We have our Sedona limousine tours, our Sedona
Wow.
Kundalini yoga, our comic. We have a comic book. It's about our love.
Really?
Yeah. And
Ah,
share all
look at
these
that.
and our Arizona Krav Maga self-defense. And what we've done
Holy
is we
shit.
put around this, what's the time we're investing, marketing, action, and then the abundance. So what we do every
Wow.
day is we put little tacks on where we are so we can manage everything and
Wow.
let the life of
Damn.
come, into more of an awareness and
Yeah,
stretch ourselves to where this is instead of becoming tunnel vision on one thing, which I
sure.
think is natural in life, right?
Sure, sure. Oh my God, that's so cool. And again, to find a life partner that's just like so on
Oh
board
yeah.
with that,
Oh, and
right?
you're so excited about it. You're like, okay, this is the time. But let me tell you, that's also the time where you do the inner work. Like you show
Sure.
up. You show up to
Right.
that
You show up.
writing. You go, okay, and that's life anyway. But let's just
Sure.
say you don't take a day off. That's great, right?
No,
Now
it is.
we take days off together and go enjoy nature. That's what I believe that I know I bring Luca a lot of that reason to go into nature, take off your shoes, get into that
Sure.
creek and just connect to this experience and be present
Right.
in nature and hear those birds, right?
Right.
That's fun.
Right. Right. And again, with the music to it, doing it all independently is
Mhm.
even even more awesome. It's like I I admire that a lot because that's what I used to do. And it was just such a grind. And I don't do music anymore. I mean, I do it on the side just for shits and giggles. And, but I just know the drive and the hard work it comes with it. It just does take a toll on your mind. And the people that you were working with, like I was butting heads with them and shit. And it became like work and I wasn't getting paid for it. I was going to band
Yeah,
practice and everybody was just getting trashed and shit. It's just like,
yeah,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ, what are we doing here?
yeah,
you
exactly.
know, and
Yeah.
people just have different goals and different outlooks on everything and shit.
Um,
But is there a website or is there a YouTube channel my fan base can find you guys at?
oh goodness, there's a lot of them. There's, and there's a lot of them, and maybe I'll also send you the link so you can,
Sure,
attach
sure.
this somewhere. But we have, first of all, let me start with the Sedona Kundalini Yoga.com. And on there, you'll see that we have a full spectrum of what we do. We also create mantras for people. Cosmic Connection is one of them. It's the Ang Namo Guru Deb Namo, where we're just kind of letting people, if they wanted to purchase the MP3, and it's just a very trance. If you want to get into a trance state, altered consciousness, for whatever work you may want to practice with. And we offer earthing, which is so beneficial. It's just guiding people as they come into Sedona to, again, take off the shoes, get the rubber out from our soles, connect to the earth, and allow that physiological connection to positively enhance our heartbeat, to our coherency of our brain, and relax our body systems, and just really let the cells in the central nervous system become resonant. So we do earthing there. We do our Sedona Kundalini classes there. Now, we also have SedonaHypnotherapist.com, and that's where we offer group sessions. We do retreats, workshops, and individual sessions. We also do something very cool where we integrate the limousine. We do past life regression in the time capsule, and the time capsule is the limousine. So we bring people in and we do a really cool past life regression. It's very, very, very beautiful. But we also are doing hypnotherapy for generative and remedial. That means people that want to remove things from the subconscious, that huge, gigantic, space. We go in there and we help them lovingly to extract the things that they don't need anymore in their life that are causing some symptomatic stressors and grief or depression. So we work with people in that way, and we work with people with hypnotherapy to put in new things, self-confidence. Look, I've always wanted to sing, but I'm so afraid of the stage. I just can't do it. And then we go in these trance states and we allow them to help us construct, what is it that you need to do? And we put that new program in. So it's really beautiful. Then we have our comic, which is www.lovinsedona.us. And I would totally suggest you go and you click and you sign up, because it's the whole story of us. It's the true story of us and how Luca came into my life and me into his. It has the self-defense. It has everything we do, the music.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is a great idea. Great concept.
Yeah, we have, let's see, Arizona Krav Maga, which is another one to check out. And we have, I think maybe that's it, but we have a lot. We have also,
I'd say
my personal website has them all. So that's Claudette-Renee-Lyons.com.
Sweet. My God, that is such a laundry list. It's insane. And that's so cool. I don't know how you fit all that shit into one day.
Is it clean laundry?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome though. Yeah. Oh no, again, I can't thank you enough, because I was so curious. I'm like, both of you guys' background story. I might have to have your husband on with you sometime in the future.
Yeah,
and maybe tell him, have him tell his story, and maybe promote his business, because that'd be great. Because I love promoting people's businesses, or if they have books, if you guys have books or anything else. Again, anything I can help promote, I'd like to do for you guys, because I think you guys are dope. You have awesome energy, just very unique. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, something just drawed me to you. I was just like, where the fuck is it? And then the alien music videos, I was like, yeah, this is shit.
I just want to tell you how much fun that was.
Yeah,
it looks like I also want to say what it was like for the tourists that were like,
like, who's that guy with an alien mask?
Because that was not one take. That was a couple takes. Sure. And it was like 110 degrees in Sedona.
That was hot. Yeah.
And I have this like infamous vein that wants to just come out of the vein by like 5 inches when it gets that hot. So let me tell you, that day it was like, but the result, thank you for the feedback.
Yes. And again, I'll steer more people to your music and stuff like that, because I love music, so I'm here to promote anybody who does music. So that is great. Well, hey, I want you to stay with me for 2 more minutes, and yeah, I'll wrap it up.